Welcome back to the Pod of Many Things. My name is Leon. I am your host for this video. Last video we went through the, what was it called? The Path of Wild Magic Barbarian, and in this one we're going to be going through Warlock the Genie. So we've got a new patron. And again, this is preview content from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coming out in November. Really looking forward to that. So let's get into the Warlock of the Genie. So I've had a quick read through this, and it does seem like a really fun class. Lots of delicious flavor to play around with here. So we will start. So there's 4 different types of genies you can choose from, as you can know if you're well acquainted with the monster manual. You've got the Tao, which represents the earth. You've got the Genie for air, Ifriti for fire, and the Marid for water. So first, straight off the bat, you've got a lot of flavor to play around with there. Where did the genie come from? How did you get in contact with it? What does the genie want? Why is the genie giving you power, and so forth, and so on and so forth. Next we get into the abilities. So level 1, we get a genie's vessel. So everybody knows the archetypal oil lamp, the Middle Eastern style Aladdin oil lamp with the Robin Williams style genie. But you got a few different options here as well. You got an urn, a ring with a compartment, which could be fun, a stoppered bottle, which could be really fun. Maybe you encountered this genie one day. You're just walking along the beach, you find a corked bottle, you open it, and then the genie comes out and is like, "Have some power." A hollow statuette, maybe you're an acolyte and you found that in a temple. And then finally an ornate lantern. So you've got 6 really interesting choices that wizards have given you, but I'm sure you can play around, speak to your DM, speak to your players, and come up with something if you don't like any of these 6 options. Really fun. So you get the vessel. It's a tiny object, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your spells. Speaking of spells, as per usual, we get an expanded spell list based on our chosen patron, this time the genie. So normally you would get 2, but with the genie you're going to get 1, and then plus another one based on the element of your patron. So all of the classes, they're going to get detect evil and good, phantasmal force, create food and water, phantasmal killer, creation, and wish. Of course they're going to put wish in there. It's a genie subclass. You need to have wish. But the one that's interesting is create food and water. This is a spell which I would always recommend my players don't really bother with unless you're using the systems where you have to track your resources, your food, and your rations and stuff like that. I never bother with those mechanics. So not sure how useful that spell would be. But then for the Tao, you got Sanctuary, Spike Growth, Meld into Stone, Stone Shape, and then Wall of Stone, 4 fantastic spells. You could really have some fun with Spike Growth. For the Jinn, you got Thunderwave, Gust of Wind, Wind Wall, Greater Invisibility, and Seeming. Again, all excellent spells, all tie in really nicely with the theme of air. Then you got Ifriti. Burning Hands, excellent. Scorching Ray, excellent. Fireball, fantastic. Then you got Fire Shield and Flame Strike. So all of these fire-based spells, and of course, they're going to put the Fireball in there. You can't have a fire-based elemental subclass without throwing Fireball in there. Fair play. And then Fog for the Marriage, you're going to get Fog Cloud, Blur, Sleet Storm, Control, Warmer. I'm assuming that should be Control Weather. And then finally, Cone of Cold. One of my favorite spells. I don't know why. It's just, as a DM, somebody pulls out Cone of Cold, the whole party's going to panic and get fucked up. So yeah, some excellent spells there. Really fun. And I spoke about this last time when I did the Path of the Wild Magic Barbarian. It feels like, they've probably had loads of these individual subclasses laying around that they haven't really felt they want to 100% commit to, and then they've come along and just thrown a bunch together. And I don't think that's a bad thing. No, I think that's a fantastic thing. With the wild magic, that's incredibly unique, and with this, I think they've added a really nice uniqueness via the flavor of the genie, because you could have just had a water-based subclass. And I do believe there is already one in the Unearthed Arcana, the Lurker in the Depths or something like that, which is already good. But throw them all together in one subclass, tie it together with some delicious flavor, and I think this is working out fine so far. Alright, so what else do we get at level 1? We get a couple more things. So that bottle we spoke about, you get 2 abilities granted by it. So you get Bottled Respite, which essentially means you can retreat into the vessel, which is fantastic. The vessel itself, it's a demi-plane, 20-foot radius cylinder, 20 feet high, and resembles the vessel. Thing that's great about this, I think, where it could be super useful is, firstly, you could take rests inside there. You know, at level 1, you're going to have 2 proficiency, and you can stay in here for a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency. So if you're an elf and you only need 4 hours of long rest, you could just jump in there and take your entire rest in 4 hours, which is fantastic. And, you know, if you do get attacked in the middle of the night, who is going to think to attack an oil lamp? Nobody. It does leave your companions a man down, however, but you will be safe inside your oil lamp. Next, we've got Genie's Wrath. So once during each of your turns, you can deal extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus, and the damage is based on the element of your patron. So bludgeoning for Dao, thunder for the Genie, fire for Ifriti, and cold for the Married. Unless I've missed something here, it doesn't explicitly state whether or not the damage is magical. So the Dao with their bludgeoning does sound like it could get the short end of the stick because the other damage types are magic by nature. Unless they change it in the final product, I would probably homebrew that damage counts as magical bludgeoning damage. Then onto the vessel itself. The vessel AC equals your spell save DC. So it's going to be, what, around 12 maybe at first level, which isn't bad. Its hit points equal your Warlock level plus your proficiency bonus, and it's immune to poison and psychic damage. So at level 1, it's going to have 3 hit points and 12 AC, which is very fair for an item. Very, very fair for an item. You know, a commoner has 4 hit points and 10 AC, I believe. So sounds about right for an item. If you lose the vessel, you can do a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. It destroys the other one if it's lost. So, you know, if you lose it, you can get it back in a short rest. So yeah, that's the vessel and the spells. Gives you a really good, really liking the flavor. I keep saying flavor. Let's not say flavor for the rest of the video. Alright, then we got at level 6, we've got an elemental gift. You begin to take on characteristics of your patron's kind. You now have resistance to a damage type determined by your patron's kind. So bludgeoning for Dao, thunder for Jin, fire for Ifriti, and cold for Married. And, you know, despite the Dao getting the short end of the stick with the bludgeoning damage attack bonus, it seems like this would probably be the best one to have because you're most likely to encounter bludgeoning damage depending on the type of encounter that the type of game that you're playing or the campaign that you're playing. You know, thunder, fire, cold could be few and far between, but there's always going to be something giving you bludgeoning damage. So that's the Dao getting the short and the long end of the stick. In addition, as a bonus action, you can give yourself a flying speed of 30 feet that lasts for 10 minutes, during which you can hover. And you can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain at the end of a long rest. Which is, that's great. So you get this at level 6, so your proficiency bonus is going to be 3, maybe 4. I want to say 3, but either way, you know, 3 instances of fly for 10 minutes with no concentration. And it's hover instead of fly. So, you know, if you do get knocked down whilst you're flying, you're not going to crash, you know, 60 feet down to the earth and take extra damage, which is fantastic. Excellent. Level 10, you get the Sanctuary Vessel. So with this is really cool. So at level 1, you can enter your vessel. At level 10, you and 5 of your allies within 30 feet of you can now also enter the vessel. So very similar to Leomund's tiny hut, but it has more. So as a bonus action, you can eject any number of creatures from the vessel, and if you leave, and everyone is ejected if you leave or the vessel is destroyed. But also, you can do a short rest in 10 minutes. A short rest in 10 minutes. You can also add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit dice as part of the short rest. So, not only is this very similar to Leomund's tiny hut, obviously it's not the same, it's not as sturdy as a tiny hut because it only has, 12 AC, and how many hit points are you going to have at this point? Maybe 9, 10 hit points. But again, who's going to be looking to attack a bottle or an oil lamp? So, very, very similar to Leomund's tiny hut. It has some drawbacks, but it balances that out with the short rest and the additional hit points gained from rolling hit dice. Excellent. And then finally, it is a genie subclass, so we get some wishing stuff again. So level 14, limited wish. You entreat your patron to grant you a small wish. As an action, you can speak your desire to your genie's vessel, requesting the effect of one spell that is 6th level or lower, and has a casting time of 1 action. The spell can be from any class's spell list, and you don't need to meet the requirements for that spell, including costly components. The spell simply takes effect as part of this action. Interesting thing, last sentence there. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish 1d4 long rests. Okay, so this genie is not feeling benevolent today. He may feel benevolent in 4 days or 3 days. But the interesting things here, any spell list from any class, no components, and it's just the effects. You're not actually casting a spell, you're just getting the effects of that spell. So all of the spell casting with 0 of the drawbacks from actual spell casting. But it's a wish, yeah, so it just seems like a weaker wish spell, which is a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think it's a fantastic feature. I would love to play this at some point, or have a player that I'm DMing play this, just so I could really delve into the... I've already said I won't say that word, so already delve into the theme of this subclass. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I really like it. I'm intrigued to see what else comes out of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I'm assuming there's going to be more than these 2 subclasses, but don't quote me on that. We'll see what happens when the book comes out. Let me know what you think, and I will speak to you in the network. I will speak to you in the next one. Peace.